Sally Morgan is passionate about people and relationships. She's a third-party mediator. Sally's goal at Vive Mediation is getting people to better understand how to communicate and relate to others, from separation and divorces to elder mediation to workplace mediation. Sally believes in growing from experience and offering meaningful strategies that can be used in all areas of one's life. Get more at vivemediate.com. In other words, Sally's been busy during the pandemic, and she joins us right now along with Scott Campsall. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Dan. I hear it's graduation day.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's a great idea. So we're paying tribute to graduates, and our social media exploded. So I'm trying to get to as many names as possible this morning. The name, though, that we want to get to right now is Sally Morgan, who joins us for the first time in a while. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dan. Lovely to be here. I'm just fine, thanks.
I'm guessing that I wasn't far off in saying during the pandemic, you may have been even busier than normal. Would I be correct?
Absolutely. We know what COVID has done for relationships, and it's been a defining factor in making decisions and good decisions. And where better do we see that reasoning is where we're trying to raise our children during a time where we're homeschooling and maybe not out of the home, 24/7, working all together, trying to raise children in as healthiest way possible.
Now,
COVID's been interesting.
Yeah, I'm wondering if one of the issues might be, and we see this with couples, having your own space. Not to say that you need it all the time, but at times you need your own space. And is that something that you've run into at the family level, where it's one child or another, or one of the parents or both parents, where they just say 24/7? I mean, we just can't get away from each other because of the pandemic.
Absolutely. And with the online learning as well, the complexities that go along with that, with having, especially in the rural area where we are, Dan, that, the bandwidth isn't so great. So having many users of the computer in the home, finding a space where everyone can have their time to complete their tasks healthily without raising the stress level. That was definitely a big concern during COVID. Hopefully now, with kids going back to school in September, we can get back to some kind of normalcy.
When you're dealing with like split couples or divorced couples, and you've got maybe one parent that is really uptight as far as safety protocols and making sure everything is in place, and then there's somebody else, the other parent maybe is a little bit more relaxed, how would you go about approaching that kind of situation?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question, Scott, because invariably in any couples, one parent is slightly more safety or more safety adverse than the other. So that's why bringing in a parenting plan, which a parenting plan is really where two parents separate and there's a child or children that need to be cared for, setting out an intent between the parties on how they're going to take care of future tasks, whether it be education, health, culture, language, religion, and such, how we deal with travel in the future, how we deal with moves. One of the biggest changes that came out quite recently to the Divorce Act was taking away custody and replacing it with decision-making responsibility and giving the parents more of a joint decision-making process. So having both the parties begin that process with a parenting plan is absolutely where it's at. You're looking at potential problems, and COVID, has shown us that's been one of those issues. Just to give you an example, for the parenting plans, so now you have children in two different households. If they were split parenting during COVID, how are you controlling the access for children potentially getting infected and such, because now one parent's lost that control and now there's another parent involved. So So the complexity, so having to write certain paragraphs into a parenting plan was certainly considered during that time. And it's not something that we couldn't, keep going forward because we don't know if this is going to come back again. But the peace of mind that it gives the parents to know that, yes, we talked about this, we've agreed to this, this is how we intend to parent going forward.
Where does meditation, well, I know where meditation should fit in, but where does mediation fit in when you're talking about a split? Because obviously both sides are going to get some legal representation. Is it a good idea to sit down with a mediator first before that, get your legal representation, then sit down? Is there a process that generally is in place?
It works both ways. I mean, I have couples that have come to me after they've gone to lawyers, and they've both been in the process of legal litigation against each other and found it hasn't worked, and so they've resorted to myself. I ordinarily advocate anyone who comes to me to at least get independent legal advice, and also as they go through the process of mediation to still seek a legal advice on any decisions that they're making so that they're informed. The better informed, the better empowered the parties are, the stronger the decisions are that come out of mediation. It's not for a mediator, whether a mediator is a lawyer or not. You cannot give legal advice. You can give legal information. So to answer your question, it can go both ways. But also, when you've completed mediation with me, there's a document that's called a Memorandum of Understanding, and that is then turned into the legal document that's called a separation agreement, which can be prepared by a lawyer. So ultimately, there is a legal glance. There is a legal aspect to the document overall. But ordinarily, I do ask that parties do seek independent legal advice just to inform themselves of their rights and responsibilities as they're about to embark on mediation.
Does it help with that communication between the two parties? Because you are going through, obviously, a very difficult time. And even if it's a complete separation and then a divorce down the road, is this the kind of thing that might help pave that road to be a little smoother even after they go their separate ways?
100%. So you have to look at the difference. With mediation, you're both around a table with myself. You're discussing the issues at hand. It's all very much in the present, but looking forward to the future. With absolutely the rights and the best interests of the children or child are center and foremost in the discussion. If you compare that with litigation, Dan, that's being done against each party. Each parent is taking their concerns to their independent lawyer, and those concerns then back and forth between law offices. So there's never the component of sitting down together and discussing that. So that's why I think mediation really works. And I find people are far smarter these days. They want to do things. They want to be involved, and they know that there's a better way.
Well,
so
I could... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Complete your sentence there. Sorry.
I was just saying that, by starting that process, there's the intent to keep that relationship, just finding a new way of discussing, new way of communication, what works, so that going forward, not only do you have a better parenting plan, but just a healthier way of dealing with each other.
You use that magic word, parents, and I'm sure that you have had a number of cases during this pandemic where you've had families come forward dealing with parents, whether it's one or two, and they may be in long-term care facilities, and we saw what happened early in the pandemic. I've heard of talk of, families saying, well, they have to come out. No, they can't come out. How did you deal with that? And was there a spike in the number of cases that came to you?
Actually, Dan, there was an enormous concern of spike, but there was, because of the lack of being able to contact those who were in long-term care, that sadly posed a huge problem. I see going forward that we will have many more seniors that will be reluctant to go into long-term care home, so we will have far more the larger family concerns that mediation can address. Finding places where mom or dad can maybe move in with a child, how that's being supported, how that's being regulated, how that's communicated. We're just at a real pivotal time as we start to pick up the pace and go forward now, Dan. As we start to, what we think we're going to return to normalcy, it'll be a new normalcy. And aging parents is going to be an enormous, enormous concern for families.
Going back to kids, is the plan sort of like a parenting plan normally, is it very general, or is it something that has to be updated? Because now you've got aging kids that obviously there's going to be different concerns. Now we got a pandemic to deal with. Is it something that gets updated regularly?
Yeah, we do. Like we always put in there. Obviously, children change, their needs change, and parents' needs change. Sometimes they change jobs, and so there's hours and scheduling to change. What about a child with disabilities? That's even more problematic, that you have to address that and keep that updated. So that's something that we always write into the parenting plan, that it needs to be addressed as is needed. Looking to the child for cues as well, so that both parents are looking for opportunities or looking for changes in behavior to address that.
Well, Sally, it's been great discussing with you all these different aspects, and what I love about it most is the aspect of communication. Making sure we do talk, because we tend to go to our own corners, and then we rely on whatever the legalese is written on a piece of paper, and that can be a dangerous road to walk down. Now, if someone is interested in talking to you, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, this week I'm supposed to be on vacation, but
thank you for this.
I'm on vacation somewhat. Vive Mediate, so VIVEMEDIATE @gmail.com is my email. The telephone number to contact me is 905-868-0905, or you can go to the website vivemediate.com.
And it is Vive, not Vive, as I
say Vive, but potato.
There you go. As long as you get the number right, and you can find the website, and I'm sure you can get back to them in time. Well, thank you for taking time out of your vacation. I mean, mediators need vacation time as well.
You bet.
Thank you again, and thank you, Scott. Hopefully, we answered all the questions you had this morning.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, this was our first interview with Sally, and I don't know what it is, if it's her voice or what. I'm just so relaxed right now. I think if anybody should get into mediation, I can totally see where she fits it. So thank you, Sally. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys, and all part of a Wellness Wednesday as we try to keep people well. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. That is Sally Morgan from Vive Mediation and Scott Campsall from Okami Kai Karate.